twin turbo. Buy it now is $152,000. It's got rear suspension damage on top of whatever's going on in the front. Center lock wheels, it looks like. They cut the front trunk open. You got a good passenger seat. What's that? Is it a bong? Honey. I was informed by my wife that that's honey, not a bong. And it starts, obviously it doesn't drive. There's damage back here, but why do people pay this much money for these? I don't understand. Yeah, maybe we can bring down. Here we go. We've got a crisper. I kind of challenge myself every time I see one of these to try to find usable parts off of these burn cars. So let's try to do that now. Maybe the exhaust is usable. It's probably warped, but what is this, a transaxle or differential back here? That might be okay. And that kind of looks like it. Maybe some of these bottom suspension components. I don't see anything in the front. There's like nothing here in the front. I suppose the long block of the engine, as long as it's not aluminum, might be okay. Maybe the front, oh, there we go, front brake rotor, that looks okay. That brings some money to a salvage person. One of my favorite BMWs that nobody else likes. With the Euro plate, 98,000 miles, with a pair of jeans and a speed stick. I wonder how many rod bearings this has been through. Let's try to find a Porsche that I would be interested in buying. And so far, this one looking pretty great. Burgundy, manual Boxster, questionable choice in the radio, 110,000 miles. That should be a clean title, I believe. I could be wrong, depends on the state, and minor dents and scratches. So that's basically saying that there's not much wrong with it, other than cosmetic things. Only at $950 is it a pure sale, but it does have a reserve. It runs and drives. Yeah, this one seems like it'd be a nice car. This is, of course, affected by the IMS bearing failures. Yeah, this one's a nice car. I would be interested in purchasing this one. This is pretty cool. This is a pretty niche car. Navy blue on blue exterior. That's pretty nice. Underappreciated in my opinion. Looks like it's biohazard. Looks like, I don't know what kind of drink that is. The radio flew out of it in the accident, maybe. Lucky Charms in a sleeping bag. Wow, look at that. That's a nice presentation, you know. See why these are underappreciated. Nobody buys these. Nobody really cares about them. But like, look at that. Yeah, I'd be interested in it for the right price. If this went for under 5, maybe 4 with some fees that they're going to charge you, this would be a pretty great project car. And most of the money in repairing it is going to be the body panels. That would be a neat car to have. 2009 Drophead Coupe. Oh, it's just sacked out just enough to be comfortable. Look at that. Look at the wood. You can just picture yourself going down Rodeo in this, you know. Big chrome wheels, nice two-tone. This is pretty cool. This has got the BMW V12 back when Rolls-Royce was having that. Look, there's Spirit of Ecstasy right there. Here's a 928. I love these wheels. I think they're so cool. This looks like it got smushed on both sides. Looks really nice though, besides the smush. Let's take a look at the interior. I don't see a rip anywhere. This might have been rebuilt. I know when people rebuild these a lot, they paint the needles and stuff. And it kind of looks like that to me. You know, there's not even dirt in the carpet either. The engine bay looks really nice. Only thing I see corrosion on is like that water inlet or like a water pump housing right there. These are wide fenders too, so the damage it sustained might be limited to just the fenders, but hopefully fenders didn't push into the door or anything like that. But oh, it does say it runs, so it's pretty cool. Another 928. This one looks like it might be just more used. Is the damage the rear end? Is that what it? Yeah. So that tail light and the bumper cover. Another automatic. See, look at the gauge cluster. It has some of that. I want to call it oxidation, but it's not. It's just this plastic becoming worn or aging. Yeah. You see how clean the other one looked in comparison to this. You know, this is still pretty nice though. It got totaled out just for that. Just a tail light, and these are both automatics though. I would prefer a manual for that. All right, here we go. A GT4 Cayman. Honestly, it looks like it was just used for one track day, and it just, you know, got rubbed up on. I don't know what kind of damage. This is like rubbing damage, but what would you rub unless you were, you know, like upside down? I don't know, but this is a pretty neat car. I don't know exactly what kind of racing this is set up to do, but these are not cheap to build. We have a recession-rich flying spur. It's a little dirty back here. Beautiful. Little shard on the seat. This is pretty nice, pretty cool. No mileage, no start, nothing. It's already at $5,000. And the funny thing is, these aren't worth a whole lot. You know, like, what is this worth? Maybe like 20, you know? I gotta look at it. The GTC, classic navy blue on cream. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at it. these. They're so cool. Very appreciated, but still, big fan of them. Who doesn't like a Volkswagen? I'm a big fan of these. I know they eat rod bearings, but I personally think they're pretty cars. Does this one run? No. That one looks like it's sat with the windows down. This is nice. I'd be interested in this one. The unfortunate part is, well, it's mechanical, so I wonder if it has an engine issue. I think it's cool. I think it's a pretty looking car. And my liking for it is kind of based on that. I know that they have great performance when they do run. I think it's an attractive looking car.